to that. I believe you have a report from us on the generator hookup system.
Yes, sir. It was brought up in fiscal court a couple weeks ago about the auxiliary generator, the mobile one that we had. I got back to Palmer Oil Company. They are interested in possibly moving forward with an agreement with Henderson County. Should we have a disaster in the future. What we spoke about is getting the people from Cummins Cumberland over to their facility and speccing out the transfer switchgear that it would take to operate their facility with the generator that we had. I would need to discuss the intricacies and legalities with Mr. Gold, but what I would presume, if the cost is within their budget, that they would pay for the switchgear to operate their facility. I'm talking about their bulk facility there at Atkinson Clay Street, I believe is the address. But what we would do is we would have to enter into an agreement with them that should we have another disaster that would take out the power like that, that we would afford them the use of the generator, and that we would have the ability to fuel all of our required emergency vehicles from that facility until we had power restored, as we would have the first right to have that in that agreement. You know, in other words, Mr. Gold, you know, if we couldn't do it ourselves, that we would be able to supply all of our equipment, all of our fire departments, all of our rescue, all of your sheriff's department and emergency services, ambulances, everything like that during that disaster. Of course, we would reimburse them for the fuel, you know, under a normal contract procedure, but it would give us an opportunity to make sure that we had adequate fuel reserves and supply for our emergency services equipment.
This would only be for use under a declared state of emergency.
That is correct. That is correct. And that's what I'm saying. We have to work through that language. They were very receptive to that. I talked to Mary Ann Cannella and Tony Cannella yesterday, and they both agreed that they would like to pursue this option. They both concurred that they hope that they never have to go through something like that again, but they would be very much willing to pursue that avenue for both the benefit of Henderson County and the citizens.
What's the time frame on this?
We figure we can get somebody over there. It's Christmas time. We probably can have somebody over here in the next month and a half to work up the estimated cost for the switchgear. They had done this already and put a backup generator at one of their facilities down in Webster County, which was out of power a lot longer than we were up here in Henderson County. So they understand about, you know, some of the costs already. I don't anticipate it being as much as what it is at the road department, just due to the size of our facility compared to theirs is larger. But I'm estimating probably a couple $1,000 for switchgear. But we'll get Cummins Cumberland to take a look at it.
Heard the report would be declared in court. Is this something that should be bid or optioned out to anybody else, or is this just a...
Well, at this point, Judge, what we need to do is have them come over and spec out what we're going to need. And in the past, what we have done is we have then bid out the switchgear, checking with numerous suppliers to see who gave us the best price on that.
I think what the judge is asking about is whether
The
opportunity to have the generator, whether that should be bid out. And I think, and we're going to have to do some research on this, but I'm pretty sure if we're operating under a state of emergency, that it kind of carves out some things for us as far as some abilities there. But it does, I mean, obviously, if it's going to be used for anything other than fueling emergency vehicles, there's going to be a private benefit there, and that's something that certainly Estonia can look into that. And maybe something as the emergency folks here locally involved in this, if you have any contact with them.
What about the state and quite possibly even the city? Is this something that maybe we should look at a venture together with? Or?
Possibly there, because I know that the state road department here in Henderson County buys all their fuel from Palmer's Market over there on 2nd Street. They do not have fueling facilities at their maintenance yard. I also know that several other entities also fuel from different places throughout the county and not from a bulk facility. If you would like me to pursue that avenue after we get the list of what we're going to need and an estimated cost to see if that we want to go forward with this, I'd be glad to do that.
Well, I think if it's an emergency, we want to try to have it set up where all entities can use it. And,
that's correct.
It'd probably be best if we had it at one place, or at least check into it to see what.
I will get with Mr. Kerber and see if he can go and find out where everybody gets their fuel from, and if they would be interested in doing something like this as a cooperative agreement. Especially like the city of Henderson also, and we can see how much participation we could possibly have in this.
I hope they won't need it, but we do need to be prepared, and I do think we need to check into if this is something that should be bid, because there's other terminals here in town. Even though Palmer's was the one that stepped forward and wanted to be one, so we need to research that part of it also.
And in your communications with the state, surely we're not the only community that has crossed this bridge. So if we can look at similar structures for any other communities that have done something like this, and how they've cooperated, and any lessons learned, obviously that would be.
See what we can find out.
Before we leave, we have two names that are wanting to submit to the court to start into the road scholar problem with the Department of Transportation. Be Jeff Risley and Earl Jewell. This is something that we've been doing for several years to train and educate our workforce at the state level. And I think they start out at the road scholar training, and then move into the road masters training. Been a couple years since we sent somebody, and we'd like to get our people back involved with that. State would like to see us get back involved. So it'd be a pleasure to court. I'd like to submit the name of Jeff Risley and Earl Jewell to start the road scholar program in January.
How do we choose? What's the process we use to choose an individual who goes?
Ask Mr. Powell to submit the names that people would like to go through.
Basically, what they've done in the past, Mr. Todd, is we look at people who we felt exhibited potential supervisory skills in our workforce that we would look at as things progress at the road department and people retire, that we can have people that are trained and skilled to fill within the ranks those positions that become open. We also have in the past brought schooling from the Kentucky Transportation Center down to the road department and trained the whole workforce. There are some of the courses that are very beneficial to all the employees at the road department, not just the ones that we want to put on the programs for road scholars or road masters. We look at trying to train our people to become more skilled and understand what they're doing instead of just being a robot. Simple drainage, is the key to your better roads, and for them having an understanding of what the water does to the roadbed and why it's important to have the proper drainage off the road is something that, it's been very helpful in the past to these gentlemen. That work zone safety, we normally put that course on. One of the most beneficial classes that we put on for all the departments has been a defensive driving course put on there, because our people are out there with very large pieces of equipment on the roads. They have loaded trucks, and our roads are very narrow, and we have a greater responsibility to this public safety than a lot of people realize. and we're out there on them roads every day. And so it's very important for us to have our people skilled and properly trained in doing their job.
What is our safety record now?
Mr. Powell, how long's it been since we had a lost time accident?
Well, we went 10 years first time, and it's been 3 years.
Since we've had, it's, yeah, it's very beneficial. The big thing is with bringing them down here and putting on the full day course, and we've even had the city send people where we split the costs. You know, it really is cost saving to us because most of these seminars are put on away from here, where they would have to travel time and overnight stay. And we get a much bigger bang for our buck when we put on a full day seminar. But then again, like I said, not all of the program is geared towards the everyday hourly worker. So that's why it's important to pick people that we think would be the right individuals to move up to replace people through attrition.
It's a pretty good program. It's been proven in the past and worked. It's been beneficial to the county road department, and that today is why we felt like we needed to submit some more names to get more people involved.
Judge, we need a motion to that effect, or we just?
Yes, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. I'd like to.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Magistrate Leishman.
Aye.
Magistrate Alexander.
Aye.
Magistrate Todd.
Aye.
Magistrate Wilkerson.
Aye.
Magistrate Putnam.
Aye.